Hello YouTube, Al here, and this week I want to talk about this. So this is a Yamaha 112 or something like that. It's one of the Yamaha Pacifica thingies. It's a fairly new guitar, but it's also had the crap kicked out of it. So there's lots of dings and dents all over it, lots of punk rock use it's had. And this is my mate's guitar, and he asked me to get it working because, in his words, it is knackered. So, let me plug it in and show you specifically what he means when he says knackered. So, it's plugged into my custom amp. This is the tone, coil splits. Here's the volume. Come on, let's see if we can do the pickup selector at the same time. Okay. So everything works on it, the coil split works, but the volume pot is knackered. It feels very treacly, it goes around at a bit of an odd angle. I don't think it needs cleaning, I think it's just worn out, to be honest. Another thing I noticed looking at it is I think the action... The action gets higher as you go up the neck, so I think it's likely that this will need a shim in the neck pocket, because the saddles are pretty low as it is, and they can't really go any lower. So I think that this part of the neck up here needs to be raised up so it's pointing more that sort of angle, as opposed to where it's sort of more like that at this point. It's dipping down, it's got to be dipping ever so slightly back. So I have right here a replacement 500k A capacitor. A means it's audio taper, so it's even all the way along. And I've got an orange drop capacitor that I'm going to replace the stock one with at the same time while I'm in there. And also, I thought I had some saddles, but I don't have any steel saddles. I must have used them all. But I do have this big old brass metric block that my experience is telling me will fit this bridge, because this is the exact same bridge as I've seen on countless import strats, and I'm betting you the string spacing from E to E is 52mm. And it is. And it bloody well is. So anyway, let's get these horrid old strings off and give it a bloody good clean up, because it's really, really dusty. And I'm going to come back when I've taken the strings off, unscrewed the pick guard, and I'm going to replace the pot. So I shall see you in a second. Okay then, I've taken the pick guard off. Obviously, take the scratch, oh come on words, taking the strings off. I don't need to remove the scratch plate, because obviously these are not on the scratch plate, they're in the wood. So I'm going to leave the scratch plate on. Taking the back plate off because I'm going to replace the block with a big steel one in a second. So this control plate we're going to take off next, and that's going to give us access to the potentiometers. Then it's replacing like with like. There's 3 lugs on this, one of which is soldered to itself. One of them will be soldered to itself. I've just wired up this one exactly the same as the old one was. Replace like for like, and then the capacitor will be 2 legs, one on ground, one on one lug on the tone pot. So I'll just do the exact same thing for that. I've never seen literal spider's webs inside a cavity before. What even is this? Look at that. The wobble. It's crazy. Okay, so I've taken photos of how they're wired up. Wow, it really is a lot of awful gubbins. I will try and not break any of the solder joints or anything where I can possibly leave things as they are. I think step one will be the capacitor. That looks fairly easy to do actually. So I'm just waiting for my soldering iron to heat up. It's got a nice new tip on it as well, which is a treat for it because it's been forever since I changed the tip on it because I've never got around to it, but finally have. So I'm going to replace all these joints here. Right, so the tip's nice and hot. I'm going to desolder all of these ground wires. See if I can do it in one go. That would be good. Come on. Now. So I'm going to snip off the bare wires just with these. Notice the casing of the pot has got a bit hot, but there was actually no heat transfer to the solder joints I was trying to melt, because it's all big one globule of solder. Globule? Is that a word? Globule of solder. Sorry, just had to get the craft knife and pare back the wire a little bit, where I've had to snip these off, so I'll do it on the second one. Come on, little bugger. There we go. Don't need to apply any pressure, it will go straight through the plastic. Shielding really easy. Oh my god, this new soldering tip's making life so much easier. Wow. Wow. Did not think it would be this easy. Right. That looks about right to me, so I can bend this over. I'm going to bend the third lug out so it's out of my way. And then I can bend this round. This will not win any awards for neatness, but the solder joints are shiny, which is a good sign. I shall now try and replace these pots where they were. Right, I've already done a pop test off screen and amazingly it all worked fine. I just thought it was easier to do it off screen than set the camera up. So here it is the everything's wired up as it was before, but now yeah, so core split still works, but now hey, it's all working. So the next thing is to change out this audible tiny block with this big solid steel bugger. And that's about it really. I'm gonna put the old saddles back on, having cleaned it a bit, probably clean it a little bit more, it's still quite grim. And Bob's your uncle. So let's disassemble the bridge. Right, bridge disassembly. First thing is to remove the springs on the back. Take the strings off, obviously they're already off, and then take the springs off. The way I do it is I lever it underneath and then go like that. With your hand over the top so that it don't spring out. Make sure you don't damage this part of the guitar if you're leaning the screwdriver on that. But Anyway, that's how I do it. There are lots of different ways of doing it, but this is how I do it, by just pulling upwards. And by pulling upwards, it's really hard to get the angle on the camera right, sorry. Like that. You're now left with this floating upwards and downwards. So now it's the screws on the front. I'm going to have to strip this bridge down because it's just absolutely grim. Just grim. Okay, so screws are out. There are 3 screws, same as this, that hold this horrible little base plate, horrible little steel block on. This is full of dust. I literally don't know how a guitar can be so full of dust as this. Like, even the back cavity that clearly no one had ever been in, I literally don't know how it gets this dusty. It boggles the mind. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to... Let's have a look. So can you see in there? You probably can't see in there. I'll just get all of the saddles off, makes it really easy. I have to completely re-intonate this and set it up again anyway, and I'm going to shim the neck. I can see some dings in the frets up the very, very high end, where it's probably been dropped, to be fair, more than it being play wear. Come on. Right, see this one there? Can you see it? Yeah, you see one there. So I have to take these saddles off, and then there'll be 3 screws, and I unscrew them. That's really weird, they won't all line up. I can get the 3 holes to line up, but not the block. So I'm gonna have to put the old one back. Oh well. So the spacing on Yamaha Pacificas is not the same. The spacing on the Yamaha Pacifica is not the same as other import Strats, or at least the block isn't the same. Right, well that was a bit annoying, bit of a waste of time, but you know what? Someone else out there will have learned something. Someone else will go, oh right, well I'm not bothered with that then. I'll just upgrade the whole bridge or whatever. Which might be a really good idea actually, if you get like a Wilkinson one. They're really, really, really good bridges. And you could probably get one for about 30–40 quid. Okay, so I've got the back plates back on. Just clean the bridge really, there's no setup, I need to set it up, I'll have to do that in a bit. The next thing is though, I want to shim this neck. So, first thing to do is to take the neck off. Using these 4 bolts on the back and a screwdriver. Cool, so they're slackened, and now the neck will come out of the pocket. And you know what? That is a very nice neck joint. I have to say, ooh, that is a tight neck joint. That is good, that is. So, I'm going to cut a piece that's roughly the same diameter as there. But there. Cut the corners off, the front, so it will sit in the neck pocket nicely. Then need to cut the back off, it's a bit too thick. I don't want it to interfere with the screws when they go back in. I've just placed the shim in the neck pocket there. Oh, it's fallen. There. I want to put the neck in. That's going to be raising the very front edge of the neck a little bit. Right, just pop some fresh strings on. And you should be able to see the actions a bit more even up the dusty end now. I haven't set it up or anything, I haven't even tuned it up. Just because the strings are tight, I can see it acts as a straight edge. So I'm going to tune the guitar up and I'll start setting it up. Actually, you know what? I can see something wrong already, because when I put the saddles on, they're not in the same order. So I can see already that the G and the D, which should be the highest, Probably not by a lot, but they need to be the highest because they're in the middle and there's a camber on the... Shut up. Shut up. I'm trying to explain something. There's a camber on the fretboard, so you need the G and the B that are in the middle a little bit higher than the other strings to accommodate for that. Not tipping up. That's a lot better. Right, I think I'm going to give it a cursory tune-up now and start setting it up. Right, string ends snipped off because they were annoying the hell out of me. Right, tuning's going to be out, intonation's going to be all over the shop. So, the next thing is probably going to get the action roughly right first. So the G string is now too high. Never a good feeling. Just doing it by feels, what the distance is on the strings. I'll probably lower it until it starts to choke out. Might be a high fret. No, I think it needs to be a little bit higher, tiny bit higher. Horrifically out of tune again. I need to re-intonate it, so hit the harmonic at the 12th fret, that's the double dots. Just rest your finger over the metal fret, and that's halfway between the bridge and the nut. So you want to match that note to the fretted note at the 12th fret. That sounds high. I'm very, very picky about intonation personally. I don't like using tuners for it because tuners say it's in tune and my ear's telling me it's not. So, to me it's slightly sharp. So, for it to be sharp, you need to effectively lengthen the string from the fretted point, which means the saddle has to go back. So I'm going to do that. Don't forget to retune it. That sounds better. Yeah. It's all going to be horrifically out of tune because the strings are brand new. So I'm going to stretch out the strings and tune it up. I may have to tweak the intonation some more as the neck settles with the strings on it, and they're, you know, it's had strings off it, so it needs to sort of rejig itself with the pressure. But that's basically it. So I'm going to plug it in and roughly tune it up, and let's see how it sounds. So, rough sounds. Split bridge pickup. Want a bit of reverb, a little bit. Quite a lot. I'm only using my custom double barrel. Try a bit of drive. It's only a 30-watt solid-state amp, but upgraded the speakers to 212s, and now it's the loudest thing in the universe. Sorry, it's a 212. I upgraded the stock custom little speakers to Celestion V30s. Turn off. Yep, there you go. So there you have it. I've fixed it. It's all working. It plays better than it did. It still needs a bit of a tweaky. I think I may give it a little bit of a tweak at various points. I just want to keep playing with it. See if we can get it playing a bit better. I feel like this B string could come down a little bit for one thing. Just a little. Well, there you go. It's all working. It's cleaned up. It is battered, but there's nothing wrong with it function-wise. The pickups ain't bad. According to the interwebs, the pickups are on Nico, and you know what? They're fine. I don't have a problem with them. Sometimes I really hate stock single coils, but these are fine. I don't know if I'd change them out, to be honest. I think I'd probably leave them be. The neck isn't the nicest neck in the world. It reminds me of the original Stratocaster neck. It reminds me of other cheap Strat necks I've had. Reminds me of the brown neck Strat. Not the most comfortable neck in the world. It's a bit generic. Yeah, but there you go. It's all working. So there you go. Thanks for watching. My name's Al. Like, subscribe and all that nonsense, and I shall see you next week. Sorry this video's a bit late. I've just had so many projects on the go. I haven't been able to get around to doing this. So I've got it done today, and I'm seeing my mate Alex tomorrow, so he can have that back. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that nonsense, and I'll see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.